G'day everyone, Jimmy here. I thought, why not go live? Why not go live? It's Sunday night or Sunday afternoon, and we're getting a lot of questions from people about how we travel. We'll just wait for a few people to jump on. I'll go like this. I'll do. We'll just wait for a few people to jump on. But yeah, hopefully everyone's been good. We just got back to Penang. We've been on a mini vacation to Pattaya in Thailand. We got back yesterday, and the weather's so good. The weather's so good at the moment. I don't normally get to sit outdoors like this because it's too hot. But a storm just rolled through and really cooled the place down, which is really nice. So I thought, why not jump on? So guys, if you got any questions, the way this works, I'm jumping on because I'm getting a heap of questions from the YouTube videos that I just posted. And I thought, why not jump on here and answer any questions you have about how we've gone about this. So we've been traveling full time for 2 years. We've also just got this place in Penang, and happy to answer any questions you guys may have about this experience, because you know what it's like if you there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions about how we go about this lifestyle. So feel free to ask any questions. Oh, hi Liam.
Hi.
So this is Liam. Liam, what have you thought so far about?
It's good.
Yeah? Do you like traveling?
Yeah.
So yeah, the way this works, if you have a question, just leave it in the chat, and it will pop up. It'll pop up on the screen, and then I can do my best to answer it. So just if you have a question about traveling, this lifestyle, schooling, how much rent we pay, whatever, Penang, I'm here to answer them, and I'll probably be on for an hour. So yeah. Just leave a question in the chat. G'day, Jerry, my next door neighbor from Singapore. Oh, beautiful. We've been to Singapore a few times. Obviously, it's everyone flies through Singapore all the time. Beautiful place, just so expensive. But Singapore is really amazing. Love Singapore to death. And it's one of the cleanest cities I've ever been to in my life. Absolutely unreal how clean Singapore is. And I think Malaysia could learn a few things from Singapore in regards to considering they're basically cut from the same cloth, right? Just two different directions. Government has a lot to do with that. Obviously, the government in Malaysia and Singapore's worked really hard to make Singapore what it is. I really love Singapore. So welcome. Do you have any questions? Anyone that's watching at the moment, if you have any questions about what we're doing, the traveling, the kids, you guys on YouTube have probably come from the videos. So if you've seen the videos and had questions, I'm going to do my best to answer them here. You're getting a lot of flack lately in your videos. Yeah, I'm used to that. Honestly, I cop a lot of flack as it is. I don't think you can honestly please anyone. The reason I decided to start creating the videos in the first place is we get asked a lot of questions. Now, obviously, for every 100 people that basically don't agree with our decision, there's one or two people out there that are like, actually, I need to hear this, and I needed to hear someone else's story because maybe I might want to take the leap myself. So, I know I cop a lot of flack for what I say. I'm pretty opinionated, to be completely fair, but there'll be people out there that need to hear what we're talking about, and it might help them make a decision. They might be in a situation in Australia they're not very happy with. And I just really wanted to show people that there's other options out there, right? You don't have to, I'm not saying that Australia's bad. I'm not saying Australia's good. I'm just saying that if the cost of living crisis is crushing you, come live in Asia. It's very good. It's a nice way to live. It's a beautiful place in the world. I don't know. I am copping a lot of flack though, I must admit. But what do you do? What do you do, right? You're not going to make everyone happy. So, if anyone's got any questions, let me know. I'm going to be on for about an hour, I think, and then I'll peel off and we'll have some dinner. But yeah, any questions? For those who don't know where we are here in Penang. So this is a place called Batu Ferengi. As you can see, it's a pretty amazing part of the world. And yeah, it's a beautiful place in the world, and it's nice to just come out on this balcony and just spend time looking over the ocean. Left Oz and live in Vietnam now. Yeah, we spent 3 months in Vietnam last year in Da Nang. Loved it. The only reason we didn't move to Vietnam, because we were very close to moving to Da Nang, like very, very close. The only reason we didn't do it is English. That's really the only reason. Country's beautiful. The people are beautiful. Maybe not right now with the hurricane that's going through. It's a pretty crazy situation there at the minute, but the people are beautiful. Just an amazing place. And we really, really thought about it, but Penang sort of irks, sort of nips it in the bud in regards to English. Oz is cooked. It's done. It is really done. Okay. It's not done. It's fine if you've got a lot of money, and it's fine if you own a house. For everyone else, it's pretty hard in Australia. All right. So next question here is from Jason. Big fan of what you and your family have done. How did you decide on Penang? Did you pick out places before, or did you wait till you arrived and checked it out? Yeah. So that's a great question. So essentially how we landed on Penang is we've been to Malaysia 5 or 6 times. We never started this traveling with the intention of like settling down somewhere. We basically started traveling, went, we'll just travel around for a year and then we'll head back to Australia. As we started seeing places, we went, actually, we could live here. And we came to Penang, and that was one of those places. Same with KL. So the 4 places we were really deciding on was Penang, Kuala Lumpur, Busan in South Korea, and Da Nang in Vietnam. They were the 4 places we really went, we could live in these places. And Penang just kind of, I don't know, we would have been happy in any of those 4 places, but I'll give you the reason why we settled on Malaysia. South Korea, Thailand, and Penang all have digital nomad visas. So getting a visa, that's not an issue. The reason we settled on Penang is the food is amazing here, obviously like every other place, but there's a good diversity of food here because of the Indian and Chinese influence in Penang. English is widely spoken, and it's very easy to speak English. They drive on the right, on the same as Australia, on the same side of the road as Australia, and all the laws are very similar to Australia because it was an English settled colony. So a lot of the laws that we have in Australia are actually very similar to here. And I think it's just a bit more of a laid-back lifestyle because it's on an actual island. So that's sort of how we end up settling on Penang. But yeah, we never really, I suppose we did. We checked out a heap of places before we landed on Penang. Penang is just sort of where we settled in the end. So I'm getting through these questions. Sad. Many people make comments for no reason. Don't take it too hard. No, I don't. I don't know if you guys have any context of my background, but I've made a few videos that have gone viral on TikTok, and the amount of hate I cop for those, I'm just used to it. YouTube is like very, very tame compared to TikTok. There's some super toxic people on TikTok. So I can definitely handle YouTube, but I'm just glad it's reaching people that want to learn more about, maybe living this lifestyle. Okay, so MK has asked, have you been to Langkawi? Have you thought about settling in KL? So funnily enough, haven't been to Langkawi yet. Literally Langkawi is just there. We could like swim. I couldn't swim. There's a lot of box jellyfish, but you can catch a boat and we'd be in Langkawi. I've heard it's good. We don't drink, so we have no real incentive to go there because really it's just a place you can get cheap alcohol, but it's a beautiful place as well. In regards to KL, how funny is this? I'm a pretty impulsive person. We actually looked at places in KL and I was ready to sign a lease. My wife was the one that said, actually, why don't we go to Penang and just have a look at a few places as well. And then we went to Penang and went, this is beautiful. We're Aussies. We love the water. I love the fact that we look out and we have half of our condo looks over the ocean. I love that. In KL, you're not really looking over anything except hustle and bustle. But KL is beautiful. It's got a lot of infrastructure. It's got a lot of the same benefits as Penang, if not more, Vietnam, you've got to do a border run every 3 months. Yeah, that's the hard thing about Vietnam, right? But I mean, the price you pay to live in paradise, right? Vietnam's got some amazing positives. Food is absolutely top tier in Vietnam. The people are really friendly, and everything's cheap relative to Australia and relative to Malaysia. It's probably about 30-40% cheaper than Malaysia as well. But yeah, you do have to do a visa run because there's no way of getting a nomad visa. At some point, they'll change that. I think the rest of Southeast Asia is getting digital nomad visas as well. So it's about just waiting till that happens, right? Australia is cooked to woke now. Don't prescribe to their agenda. Yeah, look, the funny thing is we never left Australia because of like any agendas. We're pretty simple people. I love Australia. I really do. And I know in my videos, that's probably the biggest thing I cop flack about is people saying, oh, you don't love Australia. But I don't think you necessarily have to live in Australia to love it. Every opportunity I've had in life has been because of Australia, right? And Australia is one of those countries, if you're willing to take advantage of opportunities, they're there. I think fundamentally the reason we did this is because the quality of life that we wanted or that I pictured for us as a family, we just couldn't get in Australia given the cost of it. So, a lot of people in the comments have been saying I'm whinging, right? That's their big thing. Oh, stop whinging, stop sulking. But actually, when you think about it, we've done the reverse. We've done the opposite of whinging. We've gone, we're not happy with our current situation. So we've voted with our money and we voted with our feet and gone somewhere else. A lot of people aren't willing to do that, right? They're not willing to, they're not happy with the current situation they're in, but they're not willing to do anything to change it. Whereas I would say we're the opposite of people that whinge because we didn't like the situation we're in, so we decided to do something else. So yeah, I always find it funny in the comments when people say that. But yeah, look, a lot of the people that are commenting in the videos are talking about this agenda. I don't know enough about it to pass judgment, obviously, but there is a lot of smart people in the comments, and that is one of the big things that pops up is that this is ultimately agenda to get rid of the middle class. Whether it's intentional or unintentional, the middle class in Australia is slowly disappearing. It's a dichotomy. You have the poor and the rich. And there is currently a middle class, and some of that middle class is moving into the upper class, but most are slowly being dragged down into the lower class, closer to the poverty line. And, the thing is, like wealth comes in two forms, right? You have physical wealth, like the amount of money you have, and then you also have just wealth in life and like quality of life and how rich you are in a quality of life. So there's a lot of people in Australia that have money, but their quality of life is so poor right now because they're having to work so freaking hard to make enough money to have any semblance of a quality of life. So it's a catch-22. So we just went, we're going to check out of this and come somewhere where we don't have to focus as much on making the money. You can focus more on the quality of life side. Australia's culture is very one note. All right, Jason's got here. Australia's culture is very one note and folks get insecure when someone does something different. Projection. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things. I try and run my own race, like there's a lot of, there is a bit of a crowd mentality, with the videos, I think, but I also don't sit there and go, wow, these people don't know what they're talking about, because it's a big paradigm shift. For a lot of people, they couldn't think of anything worse than like packing up their life and moving, right? Like, I think it's just such a big paradigm shift for a lot of people that they can't get their head around why someone would do that with their family. So yeah, I just try and ignore it, try not to let it get to me. Hey, mate, fellow ex-stoker here. Well done for making the call. Decided to wait till the kids finish high school, then move to Davao City. Yeah, so actually a gumbuster, greenie. So yeah, I was a greenie. So yeah, sleep a lot, and this lends itself to that's why the hammock's behind me. But yeah, kids, I think that is the next decision we have to make, right? So for the next 18 months, we're sweet. The boys in primary school, we have the education side down really well packed. We have a good routine. But high school, we have to decide whether we go back to Australia for high school or whether we put the kids in an international school here, which obviously is expensive. But that's the decision we have to make. So for the next year and 18 months, we're living here. This is what we're doing. We may be back in Australia. Who knows? It just depends on whether we can handle the high school. But as you know, with high school, there's a lot of other elements that are involved with schooling, socialization, meeting other kids, all the extracurricular stuff. So we have to decide then and there whether we go back to Australia at that point. Right now, we're just taking life as it comes and enjoying life day by day. It's all you can really do, right? I think the only thing I would say was, and it's probably not in your circumstance, but like what scared me the most out of anything was the idea and the thought that we because we weren't ready to move. I don't think anyone is ready to uproot their life and go to another country. But I was concerned that, like life is so short and so fleeting that like you could literally wake up tomorrow and your loved one's gone, or you could wake up tomorrow and you could be injured in a bus crash and you've got no legs anymore or something. Like things change in an instant. And my thought process is like we do it now when we're not ready, or like when we're could be better prepared. We do it now because something could change, or we wait and something could change and we're not able to do it anymore, and then sort of be kicking ourselves for the rest of our life. That was sort of my thoughts, and I really just did not want to be in that position where something happened and I don't know, something happened and we can never do it anymore, you know? So guys, the people that are just joining, welcome. I'm doing this live because we're getting a lot of questions about our lifestyle and the way we're traveling and things like that. So if you have a question, just ask it in the chat. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, just ask it in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them. Get a lot of questions about the medical side of things. I was going to make an actual video on that, but Phil, I can answer the questions about that right now because we have a fair bit of experience with the medical system here in Southeast Asia. So Hill Summit Homestead, g'day to one and all. Thanks for joining. If you've got any questions, just let us know. Happy to talk about pretty much anything. So, you know, we're an open book. I think what people didn't understand about the videos that I'm making is that a lot of people, I think they feel like it's bragging, right? And I've really tried to intentionally not come off as bragging. I know it can kind of come off like that because of like, you know, like, look at this shit, you know, like it's hard not to brag when you're sitting here and it's only costing you $200 a week, right? I understand that, but I'm really just trying to give people my lived experience, right? Like our lived experience. This is what we're going through. And if we just share it from our lens, then maybe there's a couple of families out there that go, actually, you know, like we want that life and it's possible. Look at the Mitches on the Horizon family. They're out there, you know, sold everything and came and lived in Southeast Asia and they're doing perfectly fine. So I think it has to come off a little bit inspirational, aspirational for it to resonate. If it was just, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's one of the biggest complaints I've been getting in the comments is like people saying it's bragging, you know, you're bragging that you get to, you know, you're bragging. It's like, it's not the intention, you know, it's just sharing our life and sharing our experiences. And it happens to be something different to the status quo and norm. And because of that, some people find it interesting. So, but yeah, let me know guys, what other videos would you like me to make? I've got a list of a couple. I'm going to do one on the medical side of things. You know, like a lot of people are asking about healthcare over here. Cliff Notes, I would argue, and I know this is a very hot take, but I would argue that the healthcare is as good, if not better than Australia. And let me explain why before you blast me. My biggest fear in Australia was dying on a freaking ramp at a hospital, right? Getting seriously injured in a car accident and then sitting on a ramp and dying. Because there's a critical lack of nurses and doctors in Australia. I think we can all acknowledge that. The one thing that is over here that is in abundance is doctors and nurses. You go into a hospital here and there's, you know, for every one patient, there's like 3 nurses. There's just so many people. Now, what people don't understand about Southeast Asia is that most doctors in Southeast Asia are trained in Western countries and then come back. Very few doctors are trained in Malaysia. Most of them go to Monash University in Australia. Because there's actually a Monash University in Kuala Lumpur, like an Australian university. So it has Australian level of education and it gives Australian degrees. So a lot of people are saying, oh, the quality, healthcare quality is worse. It's not. I mean, if you go to a local hospital, like where the healthcare system, like the Medicare over here sends people to, yeah, it's pretty dire in those hospitals. But most hospitals are for profit over here. And because of that, they're really, really nice hospitals. So in KL itself, there's 3 hospitals there that are in the top 50 hospitals in all of the world. You know, Penang's got Glen Eagles Hospital, which is in the top 500 hospitals on the planet. You know, there's a lot of good healthcare over here. And it's really cheap. Liam had to get a stitch in his chin and they ended up gluing it. It costs $20 to go and see the doctor and for the doctor to glue his chin back because he hit it on a slide. I had 2 fillings done and a clean on my teeth, and this was done in Vietnam. It was $10. You know, I went to a specialist. I went to a endocrinologist in a hospital in KL, and Pauline, how much was the endo?
The first appointment was $20, and the follow-up was $50.
Yeah, so my first appointment at the endocrinologist was $100, and then my second appointment was $50. You know, how much does it cost to see a specialist if you don't have Medicare, or if you do have Medicare, you're waiting 6 months for it, you know? So I don't know. It's different. So Jerry, Was it scary leaving Oz, or was it like, woohoo, less stress? This is a great question. So for me, I was like ready to go. So like I was like excited. Pauline had a little bit more reservations, if we're being honest. You know, like I'm not as attached to my family as Pauline is. Pauline's got a big family and they're very close. What we found is people just come and visit us. You know, like Pauline's parents are coming in November because they want to like chill out and like relax. So for me, it wasn't that scary. The boys were like super keen as well. Like the boys were like ready because it was an adventure. But Pauline had her reservations. But as soon as we left, it was fine. But yeah, it's intimidating, right? Like we literally sold a decade's worth of stuff because we didn't need it anymore. And it's intimidating. You're selling fridges and everything you own because you don't need it. It's very liberating, by the way, but it is. It's kind of intimidating, you know? And I think for some people, it would be pretty scary. But once you're on the road, you realize that as long as you got each other, you're right. You know, these countries are designed to, you know, no one's out here trying to scam us. You know, people are friendly over here. There's nothing to be scared of, you know. And worst case scenario, if you hang around Southeast Asia, it's only 5 hours back to Australia to Perth, say, for instance. So worst case scenario, you can get a flight and you're back home in the afternoon if you left in the morning. So it's not like you're going to be stuck in Southeast Asia, you know. All right, so next question. I went to Sandakan and Labon in 93 on a Fremantle class. My memory was the food was unbelievable, like you chili mud crab every week. Yeah, Sandakan is beautiful. I love Sandakan. It was we spent a bit of time in Sandakan, and it's it's unreal. Yeah, Asia's food, top tier, cheap as well. Why didn't you go to Chiang Mai or Cambodia? Okay, that's a great question. So Chiang Mai, we are going to go there at some point, but we're just going to go for a holiday. Again, no ocean in Chiang Mai. And I know this sounds terrible, but there's a lot of expats in Chiang Mai. And we didn't want to come and live in Asia and just be around other expats. You know, like it's not like if we wanted to do that, we would have just stayed in Australia. I hate to say this, but most expats tend to just complain about stuff. And we don't want that. We want good vibes. Like where we're living now, there's a few expats in the building, but most are just Malaysians and Chinese. It's good. You know, they're just going about their day. So, but Chiang Mai, also the air quality is a bit iffy at certain times of year, but I've heard it's beautiful and we will go visit. And Cambodia, we're making a trip out there. We've been to Cambodia before and it's beautiful. Okay. Not sure where this was asked before. What visa are you on in Malaysia and how do you stay long term? Yeah, so we're on a D-Rentao visa. It's a digital nomad visa. You have to be earning over $22,000 a year and have your own be a digital nomad. So you have to have like in the technology space. But I think it cost us about $1,000 to get and allows us to stay for a year plus another year if we want. Then we can move to another visa, more permanent one. But while we were working out where we wanted to go, we just came every 3 months sort of thing. Danny, nice videos and channel. Thanks, mate. It's been a bit of a pivot into more giving our experiences, but people seem to like that. With your business and clientele base, did you build your business in Australia with an ABN and acquire retaining Australian clients, or did you build kind of nomad stuff? No. So the agency was fully built, developed in Australia, and it was very mature by the time we left. So most of our client base is in Australia. We have US customers as well, but most of our client base is in Australia. We are non-residents for tax purposes. We still operate the business in Australia though. So we pay business corporate tax, and then we pay personal tax, still pay personal tax in Australia. We haven't worked out a real way yet. We're going to sort of investigate ways to minimize our tax, but right now we're just focused on getting here. So our tax rate is like a flat 30%, I think it is, on every dollar we earn. So if you are a resident for tax purposes, the only difference is if you're a resident for tax purposes, you get the Medicare levy, you have to pay that. And the first 37 grand you get tax free. As a non-resident, you don't get the Medicare levy, but if everything above anything above $0 gets charged at 30% tax, and you don't get taxed on any income that's not earned outside of Australia. That's the main difference. You're the guy from TikTok. Here he is. G'day, Clint. How are you, mate? Good to see you. Yeah, I thought I'd jump on and do a live. We've been getting a heap of questions. We've got some videos on YouTube that are doing really well. So, go on TikTok. I don't know about that. I went pretty wild with TikTok, got on the news a bit, but yeah, more focused on YouTube now, man. But just thought we'd jump on and have a chat to everyone and answer any questions. But guys, if you do have any questions, just leave them in the chat. So if you just leave them in the chat, they'll pop up on stream here, and I can answer them as we go. And the questions we've had so far have been fantastic, because it's like, why not share a little bit of what's our life and what we're about, So yeah, if you've got a question, let us know. We're happy to answer it. If you've got a question for Liam's just there. He's happy to answer his experiences with traveling like this. But right now he's hammocking and watching YouTube. So yeah, it's interesting. Hey, I will say one good thing. So this lease we got, I just found out there's no rent inspections. So that's nice. Because the people that were in here before us were here for 7 years without a rent inspection. So it's just not a common thing to have in Southeast Asia. You got the cash, you get the place. So we paid for it, and no rent inspections, which is good. So obviously that was the worst thing about renting in Australia, is having rent inspections all the time, which is not an issue here. But yeah, what other questions you got, guys? Let me know. All right. Hello, Carla. Pauline just said to say hi to you. She's Pauline's cooking dinner, so yeah, she can't jump on. What is your favorite Penang food now, laksa or Hokkien mee? So okay, we all have different ones. Hey, Liam, what's your favorite? Yeah, what's your favorite Malaysian meal? Liam's gonna have a think. Mine is chicken rice. Yep. Mine is chili pan mee. It's obviously not just a Penang dish, but I love chili pan mee. Pauline, what's your favorite Malaysian meal? Nasi lemak or satay chicken. But I'll eat anything with noodles. So chili pan mee is so good. It's cheap and it's so filling. And every person does it with homemade noodles most of the time. Do the kids ever talk about going back to Australia? This is a great question, Levitate. So we are very conscious of that, right? Like, we understand that it's not just the Pauline and Jimmy show. Our kids have a say in what we do, and they have a say in where we go to. So no, like, we ask the kids maybe once a week whether they want to go home, and yeah, don't really get it. Rice? Hey, Liam, what do you miss about Australia?
Nothing.
You don't miss anything?
Friends and family. That's mostly all of it.
And what do you like about traveling? Come close to the mic.
It's fun.
Yeah, you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. What is it? Oh, it's a chip. Yeah, so we're very conscious of that. So we make decisions as a family, for better or worse, because sometimes we end up at theme parks and things like that because the kids want to do it. But yeah, they don't seem to be too concerned about home. I'm from Matthew. G'day, Matthew. Good to see you, mate. Francis, how do you deal with missing family and friends back home? This is a great question. It's not really an issue for me because I left home when I was like 14, 15, so I've never really been a homebody. But that's a great question for Pauline. She's floating around, but I think she's cooking. A lot of video calls, Pauline just yelled out. A lot of video calls. Basically, in 21st century, you got technology. So a lot of video calls. And then people come and visit us, to be fair. And we do go back to Australia periodically and visit the family. So, yeah, it really doesn't... Auntie Sharon says you miss your cousins. Sharon, you need to... So my sister's just on the chat. You need to come... Yeah, you need to come to Penang. It's not expensive to fly here. And look, this is what you're missing out on. Come in. We got enough room for you guys. You pop in and open invite too, guys, if anyone wants to come and visit Penang. But yeah, so it's we do miss family, but like Pauline said, we just do a lot of like video calls, things like that. And yeah, like the thing is, we've always been living away. Like, I was in the Navy, so I was in Melbourne and Sydney. Pauline came with me. But yeah. So Levitate, appreciate the answer. Enjoy your content also from WA and Albany. Oh, awesome. Yeah. So Albany's great. I love Albany. It's just far away, like we were in Mandurah, so it was nice and close to Perth. But yeah, it's just I'm not jelly at all. Hey, look, you got your house to focus on, right? But like, if you ever want to break from the kids, just come over, leave the kids with Kyle, and just come over yourself, Sharon. It's pretty nice here, not gonna lie. But
we saw some sea otters.
Oh yeah, so today there was some sea otters just swimming around in the water down here, which I got some footage of. So I'm going to post that on Instagram if anyone's interested. There's like a tribe of sea otters, and they're like that big sort of thing. They're massive. Our family of 6 have it in the cards. Visit once to pay the mortgage of passports for everyone. Once we pay the mortgage off, But so in 30 years' time, you're going to come and visit us, or you mean just pay some of the mortgage off? I get it. No, but like, yeah, look. In all seriousness, it's you know, it's you know, we understand. This is the thing we've learned is that not everyone can just drop everything to come and visit us. So we don't get upset if no one makes their way out to Penang because it's a mission. You got to get passports and everything. So we just really make an effort to try and call people when we can, and and we're lucky because the family calls us as well. So yeah. So if you were forced to leave your current residence, where would you move to? As in, like, if we were forced to leave Penang in this place, where would we move to and go to move? If it was like we were forced to leave and go somewhere else, I think me personally, I would love to move to South Korea. I'd love to move to Busan, but it's expensive. It's expensive. It's only like 30% cheaper than Australia. I think Da Nang in Vietnam would definitely be high on our list because you get the beach still, so you can go swim and there's some beautiful apartments there as well. If we had to leave here though, we'd just jump on a plane and come home. I'm so done with Oz. Yeah, that's kind of how I got towards the end too, man. Like I was literally just counting down the days. And we went back for 2 months. We went back for 2 months over Christmas last year. And by the end, I was ready to go. I was like, let's just leave early. Let's just head back to Asia. It's like, it's not even that it's expensive. It's just like walking down the street and like people just don't say hello anymore and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, it really did. We didn't feel like we belonged in Australia anymore, as bad as that sounds. But that's how it really felt. So next question here is best resources to assist with homeschooling. Yeah, so obviously the curriculums. So you have these, all the curriculum is online, like on the government website. So having access to that, and knowing what the kids should learn. And then we use Reading Eggs. We use, so that has like math and English, and it's a really powerful tool if you use it properly. Reading Eggs, and we use this thing called Kinetic Education. That thing is top tier. And then also Homeschool in a Box. They're our sort of stack. The best resource when it comes to education actually is just watching other people's YouTube videos on how they do it. That's what I found, because you get a reference point to how other people do it, and you realize that actually when you're teaching 2 kids, you don't need to do 6 hours a day of school. You only need to do 2-3 hours a day. And that's the resources we got are based around doing school in the morning and just really pushing hard in those 3 hours to get as much done as we can. And then, last week we went to Thailand. The boys just didn't do any school. We basically had the week off, and then we're just catching up now. So, yeah, I think Homeschool in a Box was good. Reading Eggs, and what was the Kinetic Education. There are 3. They're the 3 primary ones, aren't they? Yeah, so there are 3 primary things we use. But guys, I'm going to jump off in a second if there's no more questions, because dinner is ready. Because it is 6:30. So, guys, thank you so much. Hopefully, everyone got some value from this. If you did, I'll do more. I'll do more of these because why not? And yeah, I enjoyed it. So, guys, thanks so much, and I'll catch.